Hey, thanks everybody for joining us today, Live Music Nation podcast. I'm your host, Jake Gill. Today we are at Tim Walsworth. He is from the San Juan Brewfest. And guys, welcome Tim. And Tim, give us a little background on you. Where did you grow up? And talk a little bit about your businesses and your career.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Jake. So I grew up in San Antonio, Texas, spent a lot of time up in Austin after that, and came up to Colorado where I'm at now. And when was that? 1999. And I'm currently in Durango, Colorado. That's a little town in the southwest corner of the state in the San Juan Mountains. And I've been here since 2003. And starting around 2008, I got involved in the San Juan Brewfest event. I was running a charity, our local United Way chapter. And there was this beer festival at our ski resort, Purgatory Ski Resort. And it needed a new home and a charity partner. And I raised my hand because I like raising money and I like drinking beer. So we turned it into a really good fundraiser. Today, I no longer work for the United Way. I work for a business association in downtown Durango. And I partner with the United Way, though, to help them on this event. And it raises a lot of money for charity. It brings locals out and brings people to town and has good economic impact on our area.
Perfect. All right. So these are my questions. If you to the listener, because they need a visual of what this thing looks like. So describe the visual. What is San Juan Beer Fest look like?
Yeah, so we hold the San Juan Brew Fest in a park in our downtown. So we got trees and grass. We bring over time. We've kind of changed the number of breweries that come. We've downsized that a little bit to make some space. So currently, there's about 30 to 40 breweries that attend every year. We'll have food vendors too. We have live music, and so it creates this scene with about 2,000 people attend. And so it's a big event for our little town and super fun. It's really meant for people to try different beers than they normally maybe wouldn't purchase when they're grabbing something at the store or the liquor store, and find stuff they like. And if they don't like it, pour it out and go to the next ditch, right? And that's kind of the point of it, right? So experience craft beers, find something new, and support a good local cause at the same time.
Okay, so you've got beer. Do you guys offer food? Do you have other activities going on?
Yeah, always include live music.
Okay.
And so we've tried to dedicate more money on our expense side of our budget to bring in bigger and bigger acts. We're still a fairly small festival compared to the massive ones that are out there these days. But we try to bring in good regional touring acts and maybe a couple of local bands every year as well. And you put all that together, and that's the San Juan Brew Fest.
Perfect. Tim, what's some of the best compliments you've received about the Brew Fest?
Yeah. Well, people always tell me they have a good time, which isn't hard to do. Beer and music, it's not that hard, honestly. But I always appreciate that because we put a lot of work into it. I was just sitting here before I'm talking to you this morning, working on some budget stuff and inviting breweries to attend for our 2023 event. And so when we see the smiles on people's faces and having a great time with their friends and families, all that stuff matters. The real charge I get out of it is kind of twofold. The charity component. Back when I was running the United Way in 2008, when we first kind of got involved in this event, I think we lost $200. So we just barely broke even, right? And fast forward to last year, we made $50,000 for a local charity on a fairly short event. And so when I get that check over to that charity, that's the part that really charges me up. And then I look at people coming to town at the tail end of our summer. Durango thrives on tourism in the summer, and it kind of drops off right in August when kids got to go back to school and families stop traveling, right? But we pack the town up pretty good for that weekend. And so when I look at hotel stats and I hear hoteliers and I hear restaurants and I hear retail stores tell me that was a really good weekend for us for sales and traffic, that's the kind of stuff that I love hearing.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. Let me share this with you. This is This is a research study that the CDC actually did on social isolation. And I'm just going to read this. I'm just going to read this because it just reaffirms what you just said there. And the studies found that social isolation significantly increased a person's risk of premature death from all causes. And they factored in smoking, obesity, physical inactivity. But listen to this one, and this is one that I didn't know. Social isolation was associated with about a 50% increased risk of dementia. And we all knew that COVID was just devastating on us mentally, and especially for guys like you, Tim, or guys like me who really thrive in social environments. And there's always the opposite. You've got people who really thrive on just like those 2 or 3 deep personal relationships, and they're good and their life is healthy, but everybody is different. And when you wiped out the opportunity for that to happen for such a long, we saw the health ramifications of it mentally, but now we're starting to see evidence of it physically. So it just reaffirms, Tim, that what you guys are doing and organizations really all across the U.S., that we always feel good at live events. And when people are gathered, it's just a good feeling, but we don't always know the long-term benefits of what that does. And so that's so impactful as it goes through there. So I wanted to share that with you. I just saw that this morning, and just reaffirms that you guys are doing, you're providing a service to your community, but you're really providing health in an aspect. And that be countered by drinking 20 pints of beer? Of course, but that's not the average attendee at a Brewfest,
Exactly.
As it goes
By the
through
way, when we serve people, we serve them in a tasting glass. They only have 4 ounces at a time. So they can have as many as they want, but we're going to limit them, and that just slows people down in the length of the event. So, there's always that one guy who has too many, right? But I resonate so much with what you're saying, and thank you for sharing that. Connections and social and getting out is super, super important. I'll never forget, so 2020, we didn't have it, right? We couldn't have it. It was too much. We didn't know enough yet and all that. 2021, we could. So we had to do some different things, but we were one of the first larger events in our little town that came back, and we're outdoors. So, that made a difference. It made it a little easier for people to gather. The vaccine was out, all that stuff. And so, boy, that year was amazing. Taking a year off, it sucked. It also allowed me to recharge my batteries for this event a little bit, right? And rethink it and how could we do it better? But I'll never forget when those people came in 2021, and I just remember seeing people I hadn't seen, right, to your point, in a long time. There were so many hugs and good vibes that day, and it reaffirms, right, why we do this stuff, right, to your point.
Yeah. Okay, Tim, let's have fun for a little bit here since we got so serious, and that was my fault. I'm in live entertainment. I'm in live music, so I got to know this one every interview. What is the best concert you've seen your entire life?
Oh, wow. Well, I have several kind of on my top 5 list. I remember back in my Austin, Texas days, I saw Nirvana in a little bitty, super gross club down there. And it was right before that album Nevermind blew up. And that's always top of my list. I remember seeing the Black Crowes one time, also in Austin, and they just blew me away. Soulful, real, bluesy rock. I mean, that was amazing. And then I get surprised by these weird little bands that we get to come to our Brewfest. There's this local band in our town called Prophetic Calaveras, and they played a couple of years ago. And I really didn't know them too well, but got talked into having them come, and they were awesome, man, awesome. And then maybe my last one was I did go to Austin City Limits, the giant music festival. So it's so weird. You have your little bitty thing with 2,000 people. You go to something with 100,000 a day for 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
But I got to see Paul McCartney, and
wow.
That was so moving to see that legend, right, playing us songs for 2 hours. That's probably the top right there, man.
All right. Dead or alive, you could bring one musical act to the San Juan Brewfest. Who you bringing?
Oh, that's so weird. Someone last year asked me, my sound guy, and he was like, if you won the lotto, who would you bring? And so I'm a rock and roll guy, so I thought of Foo Fighters. Let's bring them down.
Yep.
There's a band called Thievery Corporation. I don't even know what to call their music, but I dig it. And it's super cool. We'd bring them. We talked about stuff like, what if we could bring like Billy Joel and go back a little bit, and some music that people grew up with, right? And you know all the words.
All right, so you got to pick one, Tim. You got to pick one.
I know.
Dead or alive.
I'm going Foo Fighters. I'm going Foo Fighters.
Foo Fighters. Fantastic. Tim, how do people find out more about the San Juan Brewfest?
Yeah, well, the main way is the website. It's pretty simple, sanjuanbrewfest.com. I got a good URL there, right?
Yep.
We've got a Facebook and social media presence on Instagram and on Facebook, and just search up San Juan Brewfest and you'll find us. Okay. And those are the two main ways. We'll start our event dates real quick. August 25th, Friday, August 26th, Saturday. Tickets go on sale June 1, and all the info will be up on all those places pretty soon.
Perfect. That's great. Tim, thanks for being on with us today, man. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you. Nice to meet you. Take care.
Thank you.
Well, baby, I'm on it.